Okay, first of all, I just want to thank you guys for just taking the opportunity to come down here and just listen to some of the information that we want to present to you. My name is Stacy. The topic today is incarceration, you know what I mean? Apparently, somewhere along the line, decisions that I made in my life, one wise decision, and it ultimately led for me to be incarcerated. I spent all my juvenile years, most of my adult years incarcerated because of the choices that I made, you know what I mean, lifestyle, decisions and all that right there. And hopefully some of the information that I'm able to get to you guys can prevent you from going any further down that road than you've already gone. Because I don't know the circumstances for everything, you know what I mean? But like Rudy just sent you the statistics right there, that's the juvenile statistic. That's the area that a lot of you are fitting into right now, but they also have the adult statistics as well, and that carries further on into that right there. A little bit about myself. I'm an alcohol and drug counselor. I'm a mentor and tutor to the African-American male in the west side of San Bernardino, but I'm also an ex-felon. I did 14 years in California State Prison, from 17, 18, 19 to 33 years of age right there. So that's a little bit about myself, but I've got that behind me, went to school, continued my education right there. You know what I mean? I'm back in the giving field. I'm in the volunteer. I go back into the prison. I minister and help, assist the inmates in there, all these trials, struggles, and tribulations that they're going to be going through right there. So it's a little bit about myself. One son that I didn't have the fortune enough to be in his life. My son was 3 years old when I left. He was 17 when I came back. I didn't get opportunity to be his father. You know what I mean? I don't want you guys to be in the same situation. I want to provide you with the information because you're going to be fathers as well in the future right there. So hopefully the information that we're able to give to you, you will be open and you know, retain some of it and utilize it in your everyday life like this. You know what I mean?
Appreciate it. Now, you look at both of us in here and you look at, you know, just some old cats talking. And that's not necessarily the case. But for me, I was born and raised basically in Pomona, California, grew up out there. I got 3 college degrees and started my master's program on the 31st of this month. I'm a fatherhood facilitator, at-risk youth facilitator, gang prevention interventionist, and certified motivation career coach. I've done nearly 20 years in the federal system. I got 3 college degrees in prison. So when you look at us, you look at people that you on the street you couldn't tell been in prison. You know, I don't wear that on my shoulder. I did the time. I went to trial, I lost. So I was sentenced to 21 years, first time nonviolent offender. Never got caught a day in my life with anything. No drugs, no guns, no money, nothing. Wasn't your typical gang member. I wasn't your typical drug dealer. Wasn't typical anything. I had 2 parents. I'm an ex-Army veteran. But I was sentenced to 21 years for the first time because I fought the system and lost. Stacy's gang member, ex-gang member. Multiple shootings. He did a lot of stuff. You know, but I caused all of that happen. I'm a different type of individual. And some of you guys have the same situations at home. You probably have parents at home. Some of you don't have fathers. You might not have a mother at home. You might be raised by a single father. And I want to just touch base a little bit on the incarceration component. And I gave that information because I wanted to see some juvenile statistics. I worked in juvenile hall in Gilbert and San Bernardino as a facilitator. And in this room, there's no Caucasians in this room, right? Do you see any? This is just about how it looks in prison, in juvenile hall. You understand that? This is just about how it looks. Black, Latino, dark skin, olive skin, whatever you want to call it. This is what it looks like. So gentlemen, you are the statistics that this paper is talking about. Majority of it. Stacy and I were part of those statistics. And what happened, we volunteered our lives to slavery. People say, oh, you're talking conspiracy. No, the 13th Amendment tells you neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist in the United States or its territories except, the word except, you've been convicted in a court of law. How many of you guys have records right now? How many got records? Don't be ashamed. We're here talking about this. So you got a record. Have you ever been convicted? You pled guilty? So you considered a slave according to the United States Constitution. Welcome to the club. You see? 13th Amendment tells you that. But let me tell you something. What does a slave mean to you? Let me ask this question first.
Doing something without pay, or like being forced to do something that you don't want to do.
Okay, anyone else? Give me your mentality, your understanding of slavery.
I mean, I say slavery would be the lack of freedom, no freedom at all, no rights. You just working just because someone else is telling you.
Okay, anyone else? Yes, sir.
Someone stripped of their free will.
Stripped of their free will. I like that one. Anyone else? True. Stripped of your free will, stripped of freedoms, stripped of your manhood to some degree. You got men, women. I've had women strip search me. Butt naked. Bent over, squat, cough, looking up in your butthole. Serious business. That's embarrassing. That's disgusting. That especially if it ain't your woman. You know? You feel bad about that. Another woman in a suit and a gun and with a baton telling you bend over, cough. She was ultimately fired for that. Because I know the law. But the point is, it happens. You got men searching you, grabbing on your genitals. Lift them up, hold them, cough, all the time. Homosexual officers doing that just on GP, just because they want to, in jail. Now, I was sentenced to 21 years. First time. Never done anything in my life. Never have a record. Never, ever had a record. I've been home 18 months. 18 months. Worked at Cal State San Bernardino on a parolee project. I help parolees get jobs. I'm an employment training specialist to this day. I help everyone get jobs. I train them, teach them how to get jobs, resumes, life skills, anything you need to know about getting a job, making connections with corporate America, with agencies and employers in the communities to help young men in training, vocational education, and jobs. I do this every day. Stacy and I are here today because we want to let you know that incarceration is real. We're products of the system. Many of you are products of the system. But you don't have to be. You don't have to have the mentality of losing your free will. Don't think because statistics say that 1 out of 4, and it's moving to 1 out of 3 young black men have to go to prison. Or young Latino men have to be in prison or incarcerated. You don't have to go to prison. You don't have to go to jail because somebody wrote down a statistic and said you're supposed to. You don't have to. We're here to tell you it's real. It exists. There's a term that says you're throwing bricks at the prison. Have you guys ever heard that? No. You're throwing rocks at the jail because you're smoking dope. You're out there robbing, stealing, tagging. Do you know tagging is now called tag banging? Are you aware of that? Yeah. It's called tag banging. They created a new law for tagging to lock you up as a gang member and enhance you if you get caught tagging. My son was given 2 strikes. Initially, he had a burglary charge. They went on his MySpace at the time, and he said he was a Crip on MySpace. They gave him 2 strikes because, not because he had tattoos, but because his MySpace said he was a Crip. We had to get an attorney to get, to fight this case so they would drop that. So he only got 1 strike. Your electronic communication. How many of you guys text your girls or your partners, your friends? How many of you on Facebook, MySpace? All them little programs, all that stuff. Guess what? It's all recorded. How many got smartphones? You got Blackberries, Evos, whatever. All these smartphones with these data plans. They're tracking your every move. They're tracking your keystrokes. So you can say, I didn't do it. And guess what? When the feds break that open, you say, here, put it on a computer, and it'll show you everything you did. Everything you ever did. Every keystroke on a computer that you ever deleted is still ghost. It's called ghost, I forget the term.
Ghosting?
Ghosting? Whatever it is. But it's there. It's there.
That's why I'm very discreet about what I do.
Be discreet.
They can't put me as the person who was using it though.
Let someone tells them, and your fingerprints on the keyboard. I'm gonna tell you something. Don't think you can outsmart them. Because they got juries that'll convict you. They got a jury that will convict you. So, let me tell you something. My jury was sequestered. You know what that means? They were put in a hotel, could not go home until the trial was over. Could not talk on the phones, and that's only done in capital murder cases. And was no bodies in my case. I'm from California. I went to trial in Augusta, Georgia. My jury was sequestered. You know the purpose behind that? They made me look like a monster. They made me look like I was a stone cold West Coast Connect killer. Because West Coast is considered a drug source state. And that drug conspiracy that I was involved in, that jury thought I was, like Pablo Escobar. That's how they made me seem. And we want to talk to you today. I know I'm taking up a little time, but I've done this more than Stacy has. Stacy was a little nervous coming in. He said, hey, man, how am I doing? I said, man, be real. Just be real. We're not here to scare you straight. We're not here to do that. We're here to give you some real information about incarceration. The prisons exist for one purpose. Now, two purposes. It does take off some criminals who need to be off the street. There's many people that don't need to be in society. Okay? There are some people that need to be locked up for a long time. But there's a lot of people that don't. Many of us should have never went to prison. We should have went to college. We should have went to a diversion program, somewhere to just get our mind right, because we weren't taught a lot of things. Some of you guys are not taught the facts of what you're doing. And let me give you a fact of conspiracy real quick. Conspiracy takes two or more. Two or more. You two. Me. Be hypothetical. We go to McDonald's. Me and you talk about, we're going to go get some burgers. Okay? You say, well, let me go get the money. You run down the street, go get some money. Me and him go to McDonald's, hit the spot. We rob him. You come back. Guess what? We have a conspiracy. We robbed him, you went to go get some money. Or whatever. That's what they call furtherance of the act. Okay? Now that's just a weak way of saying it to you. Many of you guys clam up when we start talking about dope and all this stuff. You don't want to talk about that. But it's real. When you get with your homeboys who's smoking weed, they got to buy that weed, right? From somebody. Am I right? If you selling it, you got to sell it to somebody. So you automatically in a drug conspiracy. You understand what I'm saying? You're in a federal drug conspiracy. And how many of you over here are minors? All of you minors, right? Anybody 19?
18.
18? You going to federal prison. You understand that? State prison don't really mess with conspiracies. Very few. Federal prison, it's a longer, and it's getting just like the state.
But doesn't that take a federal prosecution?
And believe me, the states will let it go and let the feds get you. The states do this all the time. If I get caught with a gun right now, guess what? I can go to prison for 15 years just for having a blank, empty gun. Federal jail, because I already have a conviction. Can't be around guns. The point is, fellas, you think you're not doing anything because your homeboy got the weed. He's going to buy it. He's smoking. He's bringing it back to you. Guess what? If he's a major drug dealer or even a small-time guy, the feds will lock every last one of us up in here, grab your mamas, your grandmothers. Come on, Cornell. You tired? Stand up, Mom. Stand up. Shake it off. I know that lunch got you. The beans and rice, I know. Stand up and walk it off. That's why we took that tour. So walk it off a little bit. But the point is, they will go get your mothers, your grandmothers, the house that you live in. I don't care where it's at. They will knock that door down, arrest her, your granddaddy, whoever, and squeeze them to the point you will tell them everything you know, just to get them out of jail. They will squeeze you, because your grandparents may not know what you're doing. Your mom may not know. You might be out there hustling somewhere. This is what happens every day. I've seen 80-year-old people, old ladies. That 80-year-old lady's daughter, granddaughter, and great-granddaughter shackled up Around the waist a chain, shackled here, and shackles on the leg, walking like this in Oklahoma City in the transit center. With about 400 women getting ready to get on the plane. About 400 men getting on another. And sometimes they put a 2 and 2. It's real talk. You seen Con Air? Y'all ever seen that movie Con Air?
Yeah.
Where they got people shackled up on a plane?
And
That's
then
real.
escape.
That's real. That's real. The way they move you like that. All over the United States. They move you on Greyhound buses. I traveled from Alabama to California by myself. In federal custody. Because I was at a camp. Fellas, it's real in jail. Don't hesitate to ask questions. If you have any questions, ask. I want you guys to get engaged here. Stacy, I'll come back. But we want you to know, man, this is real. We're not here to try to scare you out of anything. We want you to know, man, that we're here because we love you. We don't want, it's Saturday, I could be fishing. I love to fish. How many of you guys like to fish? Hey, we could have been at the lake, you know what I'm saying? But we're here because we know you guys, man.
I couldn't even sleep.
There you go. You know, I work all week, you know what I'm saying? I could be home, you know, whatever. But the thing is, man, we love y'all. We won't want y'all to be jammed up out here. Yes, sir. Oh, you thought you was raising your hand. So, this jail stuff, this incarceration component, man, is about giving y'all some real data. That's why I printed this off so you can have some real data on some of the numbers that's in juvenile hall. And get out of that mindset that you gotta go to prison. You gotta go to jail. Don't look at that. You know what you should be thinking every day? I gotta go to college. I gotta graduate high school. I gotta get into the best college possible. Some of you guys are athletes. Some of you guys want to be engineers. Some of you want to be artists, producers, whatever, doctors. Go to school. I'm going back to get my master's degree. I don't have to go get it. I have a job, but I don't want to work for everybody. I don't want to work for nobody, really. I'm going to do what I used to do. Be an entrepreneur the right way. Yes, sir.
What advice would you have for these young men who live and say it's a generational thing with the family and the gangs and the drugs and in the neighborhood, everybody, like all their homies in gangs and drugs, and if, you know, a lot of things, some of these young men may look at it, if they get out, they may be looked at it upon as weak. Well, some of them, I talked to some earlier today, they just don't know how to get out or what to do to take that next step.
You want to speak
Well,
on that?
okay, but for myself, I was involved in the game, like, I was heavily involved, that was my activity right there, but I had to start weighing out the pros and the cons right there, because for me, when you associate yourself with a gang, you disassociate yourself with the family right there. So I basically said, F my family, and I subjected myself to be a part of the streets right there. Then I started getting involved in the activities, the crimes and all of that right there, but when in my time of need, the news wasn't there for me. My family was the same people that I was dependent upon, you know what I mean? The weakness, apparently I was of some type of strength for you to want me to be associated with you. So every work that I had to put in, I had to do that in order for me to obtain the name that I wanted for myself. So weakness is not within you if you want me to be a part of your organization, unless you want a bunch of weak people with you. So that's your excuse to let them know that you can stand on your own because you're strong on your own. You know what I mean?
And also, here's another scenario. I've had this happen too. Go to your shot callers in the neighborhood. If you're in the gangs, go to your shot callers and talk to them one-on-one. Tell him, look, this is what I'm doing in high school. I'm an athlete. I have an opportunity to go to college. I want you to support me in that. As your big homie, as your shot caller, go to him and say, man, support me to get to college. I got a chance to leave the neighborhood. I can come back and do some things, some good positive things in the neighborhood. Go to him. I've had cats in the penitentiary, banged all the way out. Sagging on the compound, knives, carrying knives everywhere they went. Go to the homeboys and come to us and say, look, man, I want out. What can I do? What should I do because this is what I want to do in my future? You know what the big homie said? We meet, we talk, we say, okay, you cool, but you can't straddle the fence.
What?
Straddle the fence. You can't be a part-time gangbanger, part-time in the church.
That's right.
You gonna be in or you gonna be out. No politics. We don't come to you for nothing. We ain't gonna let you get punked on the yard. We ain't gonna let you get raped. We ain't gonna let you get all now because you're still a man. You're still from the home, from the neighborhood. But you don't get involved in no politics. If we get ready to go hit somebody, do something stupid, you're not involved. You go to the church. Go on and go to college. I went to college in the penitentiary. So we were carrying bags, books, going to school. And it only was about 4 of us initially, in 1999. Next semester, about 8 of us. Then we get the young homies, start seeing all the old homies go to school. Like, man, what's up with these dudes? Then they see us eating this food. We getting all these special meals coming in. We getting all these special events. And man, the homies they got cell phones on the yard. They got different things. How this happened? We were using the system. But the point is, we utilized and took advantage of our education to get some perks. But go to your people. You always, you hear this peer pressure all the time. Go to them. One-on-one. Don't do it in front of everybody where they want to front you off. Go to them one-on-one to the shot caller and say, look, man, this is an opportunity I had to go to college. I'm a great football player. I'm a great basketball player. I'm going to be an engineer, doctor. I got an opportunity. Help me go to college. Help me get out the game so I can make it and come back and help the homies. I guarantee you, if you go to him that way, he going to shake you. He going to say, you know what, little homie? You right. We want to see you do that. Because some of us can't do that. I guarantee you, they'll let you go. That's some advice you should try. Because if you go to them another way, they're going to, trying to tell you, homie, I'm out, I'm gone, without moving out the neighborhood, you ain't going nowhere. Because he's going to say, you ain't going nowhere. We run this. You're either going to ride or die. You see this thing says, mentor or die on the back? Yeah, I did get my shirt early. You know what I'm saying? So, you're going to ride or die unless you go to them the right way. Respect is everything. Whether it's in the gang, in the penitentiary, or here today. It's respect. So go to them and try that. That's the advice I would give a young man who wants to get out. Because you have opportunities to grow. And you guys, and Stacy said clearly, do you want to be your own man? Or you want to be somebody else's punk? You want to be somebody else's boy? Or you want to stand on your own 2 feet? Stand up, say, look, I'm my own man. I'm going to raise my own family. I'm going to take care of me. I don't need nobody telling me when to jump, how high to jump. That's what they're going to do to you in the penitentiary. They're going to tell you when, how, and how many times.
The thing about it, though, fellas, the ultimate thing is trying to join these gangs and all that. You can do everything that is required of you, and they're still not going to respect it. That was my position. I did everything that I felt that they thought that I should have done because that's what I enrolled in. It didn't amount to nothing. You know what I mean? It didn't add up to nothing. Everything that I was associated with turned against me. You know what I mean? People don't care about you. They only care about you when you're doing for them. You know what I mean?